All right, let's dive into a piece of tech that, honestly, is pretty much everywhere, even if you don't see it. We're talking about Java. You've definitely heard the name, right? But what is it really? Well, that's what we're here to figure out.
And right away, we hit the central mystery of Java. How can something be a programming language, the code that developers write, and also a platform, the place where that code runs? It sounds a little strange, but that's the magic trick we're going to unpack today.
So let's start at square one. To solve this mystery, we've got to ask the most basic question there is. What is Java?
And boom, there it is. This is the big idea, the main thing to remember. Java isn't just one thing, it's both. It's a programming language with all the rules and grammar for telling a computer what to do, but it's also a platform, which is like its own self-contained little universe where those instructions can come to life. This dual personality is the secret to its success.
Now, to really get Java, you have to know where it came from. And like a lot of world-changing inventions, this story doesn't start in some giant sterile lab. It starts with a small group of people and one big idea.
Let's set the scene. The year is 1995. A company called Sun Microsystems, you might remember them, they're now part of Oracle, has a team that's about to release something that will completely shake up the world of software. And at the very center of this whole project, there was one guy, the main visionary, who kind of dreamed up this new way of doing things.
That man is James Gosling. But here's where the story gets a fun little twist. The revolutionary project he was leading, well, it wasn't called Java at first, not even close. And this brings us to one of my favorite bits of tech trivia. The journey from its original codename to the coffee-inspired one we all know today, well, it's a pretty good story.
That's right. Before the whole world was running on Java, James Gosling and his team were working on something inspired by a view from his office window.
It was called Oak. Why? Simple. There was a big, sturdy oak tree right outside Gosling's office. It felt solid, reliable, a great name for a new language. So, if it was called Oak,
Why aren't we talking about oak-powered apps today? Why did they switch to Java? Well, the reason is actually super practical and kind of funny.
Yep, that's it. It turned out Oak was already trademarked. So back to the drawing board they went. As the story goes, during a brainstorming session fueled by a lot of coffee, the name Java came up. It stuck. And just like that, Oak was history.
Okay, so we've got the origin story down. Now let's circle back to that whole dual identity thing. First, let's look at what makes Java, the language itself, so special. Java was designed with a few key ideas in mind. First, it's high level, which really just means it's written in a way that's much easier for us humans to understand. It's also robust, built to be super reliable so it doesn't crash all the time. It's object-oriented, which is a fancy way of saying it's like building with digital Lego blocks that you can reuse over and over. And finally, secure, which was a huge deal. It was designed from the ground up to protect against viruses and other nasty stuff.
So, all that makes for a fantastic programming language. No doubt. But that's only half the equation, right? What about the other part? What does it actually mean for Java to be a platform? Let's break it down. A platform is basically any environment where a program can run. Think about it. Your Windows or Mac OS operating system is a platform. Your web browser? That's a platform too. It's the stage where the show happens.
And this is how Java pulls it off. It creates its own stage. It does this with two main parts. First, the Java runtime environment, the JRE. Think of it like a universal translator that lets Java code run on any computer. And second, the API, which is just a massive library of pre-built code, like a giant toolbox. Put those two together, and you get a self-contained world for Java programs. This led to the killer feature, write once, run anywhere. A developer could write code one time, and it would just work, whether you were on a Mac, a PC, whatever. That was an absolute game changer.
So, there you have it. The journey from a simple oak tree to a cup of coffee to a technology that runs a huge chunk of our digital lives. It's this combination, a powerful language and a universal platform that allowed it to build everything from huge corporate systems to the Android apps in your pocket. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other huge breakthroughs are just waiting out there, hiding in a combination of two simple, powerful ideas?